My business kept failing until I figured these three things out. Let's play this out for a second. Quite often, what you'll find is that a lot of gym owners are really highly skilled coaches, but really poor leaders. And so let me play out a little story for you here. Quite often what you'll see is that you've maybe got a coach and they start out in a commercial gym or they start out on the gym floor and they're competing for space and they're competing for attention and eyeballs with the other coaches on the gym floor, right? And so let's say they're there for a year, maybe 2, maybe 3 years, and they get to capacity. And so the next logical step then is, well, I can't serve any more people on this gym floor. I've reached a peak essentially, and so I should just go and open up a facility, right? Which I do agree with. Here's sometimes what plays out. Let's say you have that coach and they've been in that environment where it's hyper competitive. You're competing for attention, competing for eyeballs with the other trainers, and then they go and they open up a facility. Well, now they are tasked with hiring other trainers. And so that energy, those internal politics sometimes plays out in this new facility. And so what you'll find then is that the politics, let's write this down, carries into new facility, carries into new team members. And then whenever you start hiring those team members, instead of looking at them as an investment and instead of actually investing in them, you see them as an expense. And because you see them as an expense, you start to then resent your own team members, okay? Because you think that someday they're gonna steal your members, right? Because maybe whenever you were working on the gym floor, that did happen. You had someone trained with you for a while, and then they went to this newbie coach on the gym floor, and you resented them for moving on, and so you carry that energy into your own facility. So you can imagine how this plays out later down the line when you're thinking about developing a culture, right? Because culture beats competition. I don't care what anyone says, right? If you have a fucking great culture in your facility, it doesn't matter what the competition do because no one can copy culture, right? That's a little side lesson for you, by the way. But you can see how this plays out. So you have someone, they're on the gym floor, or whatever their beliefs are around hiring, because it might not even be someone on the gym floor, because this is where I started out, right? So I was basically working in a pub and I was working for my father. And sometimes you're kind of, looking at certain scenarios and these internal politics play out in the workplace, and then you carry those beliefs into your own business, right? I had no one to guide me on this at the start. Sometimes in the beginning, I was seeing hiring as an expense instead of an investment. Then what happens is later down the line, let's say, I haven't really done a good job of training people the way I want them to deliver. I haven't done a good job of communicating my vision and how I want the facility to be. Those people are then underperforming, but ultimately it's my fault. And so what happens then? You start to resent them, don't want to invest in them. And these are the people that are delivering your product to the marketplace, right? So then what happens is, because those people are underperforming and they are not clear on your vision, that impacts the culture as a whole facility gets impacted. And so then what you've got is the competition are winning, right? So all in all, the 3 lessons that you need to learn is you must first check your beliefs before you become a leader, right? Because ultimately you need to transfer those beliefs onto the rest of your team members, and that will happen by default. Then what you have to check is, are you seeing the people that you're delegating work to as an investment or as an expense? And then finally, what you're going to see off the back of that is this a toxic culture or is this a positive culture? Because ultimately, all in all, if it is to be, it's up to me. You are the person who is responsible for every fucking aspect of the business.